Welcome to the fifth Lightning Talk event put on by the team at KEEZ, where we give community members a 5-minute spotlight to talk about whatever they want in whatever medium they prefer. With these Lightning Talks and ultimately KEEZ in general, we are trying to set up an environment where information and knowledge is constantly being shared and dispersed. Come and share because your words may spark inspiration in the minds of others and drive new innovation in the LUKSO ecosystem. These are hosted weekly and are recorded and posted on our YouTube either the day or a couple days after, depending on when we get to it. We'll always put out some information on our Twitter on when they're released. Quick disclaimer, people may choose to use this time to talk about a project they are working on or something they may have invested in. KEEZ does not endorse anything brought up in these chats, and as always, do your research. Today we have 4 people, including myself, scheduled. Order as of right now is Heisenburg up first, and then we have Ed, Jake, and myself. So if Heisenburg is here, we can get him up here. First again, yep. Heisenburg, hello, the Lightning Talk veteran. Yeah, we're having you start off the show again.
Hey, yeah, very nice, very nice. Hi, Sage. Hi, everyone. Yeah, no problem going first. We can do that next time as well. So basically, today I want to kind of share a little bit of information about DeFolio, and we had a community call last week, and some of you might have missed it, but we're rolling out new UI. We have the design on Figma. We're working on implementing it. And so we'll also have a demo version. So for now, the folio is limited to holders, but we'll have a demo version so people can kind of play around with it. And the demo version will be basically like some dummy data, and then you can kind of like see how the entire application will work. And so within the new UI UX, we're taking a lot of things into account, and one of them being batch transactions. So with LUKSO, with LSP7, LSP8, you can actually batch transfer. So you can send single type of token to multiple recipients or multiple tokens to multiple recipients. And so we're kind of incorporating that into DeFolio so you can kind of queue up your transactions. And instead of sending your NFT one by one, you can send them all at once to either your new wallet or a bunch of different people. So that's one of the features that we're implementing into our new UI. And so that will be coming out sometime this month, at the end of the month. And so that's due to NATO. I think he's called NATO, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, his name on Twitter is NATO. And he's our new UI UX guy. He does, I mean, when I saw his work, he did a lot of, good designs. And, what he's doing for DeFolio, I'm really liking the way it's turning out to be. And I'm excited to kind of share that with you guys when we're done kind of implementing that. So, and then of course we're gonna open it up after we have some basics down, kind of clean up the code, refactor the code, and have these basic implementations. We'll be opening it up to the whole LUKSO ecosystem, and then the holders will have access to some exclusive features that we'll be implementing. So that's basically the short-term vision of DeFolio and what we're kind of working on. So yeah, thanks.
Nice. Thanks for coming. So that's like information that you give out on your community calls that you do in the DeFolio Common Ground, right?
Yeah, we do. We try to do them frequently. Yeah.
Very cool. Is it monthly? Did you say?
Yeah, kind of for now. Yeah, because it's we're kind of refactoring everything. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, look forward to playing around with it. That is very dope.
Thanks.
All right, cool. So next we have Ed, who I do see here. Heisenberg, send you down real quick. Thanks for coming again. Great to hear from you. We'll get Ed up here. Okay. Ed the Drunk, hello. Long-time community, KEEZ community member. First time, I think, hearing from your voice, but what do you got for us today?
Hang on. Can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you great.
Is that working? Oh, perfect. But I'm just here sort of to selflessly shill the new project I'm trying to work on. It's based loosely around the Wormy keys. I'm sure many of you will remember the original the LUKSO keychains, which we made with the keys I made around the keys environment. And this is somewhat of a development for that, but now that the main chain's available and we can utilize these LSP7s and 8s and try and build something I think is worthwhile on the new chain. So it's very green at the moment. We're very early. I'm here somewhat to just get the idea in front of people's eyes, maybe build the following, see if the community actually think it'll work, or if it's a good idea, or if I've just dug down my own rabbit hole for far too long and convinced myself it's a great idea when it might not be. But essentially, it's a charm bracelet to house or show your affiliation to projects on LUKSO. It will involve me collaborating, reaching out to the other projects, and assuming that everybody wants to come on board, you'll be able to have your digital and potentially one day physical charm bracelet made out of blocks, BLOK. I mean, you can't call it a blockchain, but I can call it a blockchain without the C in it, because that's clever. We have a Twitter. The Twitter is Block Charms, or @BlockCharms. There's not a huge amount on there, just some renders I've thrown up. I've written up I'll call a loose light paper or white paper. That's in the bio. It's on my website, but that'll be more official and on its own proper website when we actually come to mint and stuff. And so originally there will be 42,000 NFTs called blocks, and they will come out in rarities. So a third of the collection's black, a third of the collection's white, and then progressively more rare going through orange, red. There's 7 in total, because that works into 42 quite well. And then there's 42 of those blocks can make one chain. So essentially, in the second stage, phase 2, there will be an opportunity to have a maximum of 1,000 chains. So I know 42,000 sounds like a massive number, but in the end game, it's only 1,000 collections. So it's not as bad as you'll think. That allows for a bit of reveal excitement. You might get a really rare one. You might just get a black and white. You might not care what color they are. It might be a case of I'm happy to just have a random mix on my wrist, or you really want 42 pink links, which is where people can, if it comes to that, trade and maybe potentially make a profit, potentially lose a load of money, but we don't know. So stage 1 is minting the blocks, and they will be an instant reveal, 0.1 lux. I based this all on a $10 lux because it worked well and it was right at the time. So one full chain will cost you 4.2 lux. And it's, again, I don't want this to be a hype project. It's not a thing of, we're just going to sell it onto a bigger idiot. The idea is you can wear your affiliations or your, the communities you're in one place on your bracelet, or blockchain, as we call it. And when the metaverse is easily accessible, you wear it as a digital asset. And then the stage 3 or phase 3, I don't think will be a huge, I say success, as in I don't think 1,000 people are going to pay what it'll actually cost to make this chain, because they're quite intricate links. The links are in 2 halves bolted together, so there's no clasp on the actual chain itself. If you go to Block Charms, you'll see the links, and I think they look quite nice. They're quite blocky as well, and the angles on the top bevel is 42 degrees. The angles on one of the side bevels is 69 degrees. The diameter of the bolt is 3.1415 mil. There's little nods in there to fun numbers, and so to actually get them made is going to be expensive. And I've tried to make that clear in the I hate the word white paper because it's not really a white, it's just the concept written down. But I've made that clear. But that is an available stage to it. So physicals is a long way down the line, but it's I think they'll look nice. And the phase 4 after phase 3 is potentially different metals. So these are a silver bracelet with different coloured enamels in the, it's not inscription, is it? Insets, I suppose it'd be classed as. And then we'll have a much reduced, so we'll have 21,000 available in gold, maybe, if it takes off, if the community wants it. If the community wide says, no, I don't want you diluting the supply, fine, we can work with that. But right now, the plan is half as much gold, and then half of that again, so a quarter of the supply in platinum. And again, the price of that in a physical is going to be just going to be madness. But I'll be as fair as I can. Once we've done the prototyping, once we've got the tooling machined up, once we've got the packaging done, sorted out, the shipping, we'll have a rough cost. We'll put it to the community, and if they want one, you know, they'll have a window to. I've called it creating because I didn't want to use the word forge because that's been used before. So phase 1 is collecting your blocks. Phase 2 is creating your chain, and then phase 3 is commissioning your chain. So you commission it into a physical. Again, it'll be very much like another well-known NFT project where you have a window, people have got plenty of notice, you give a shipping address, and you get a very approvably rare and customized by yourself, as in the order of the links, chain. And then from that, the charms will be, some might not be physically makeable because, I mean, it'd be just silly, but we aim to have, it's just me, but we aim to have rarities in the charms themselves as well. So we'll say, say KEEZ did a charm, we'd have it. So there's even the ring, that'd be perfect. So KEEZ, I agree with the team, and we say we're going to release a KEEZ charm to go on the bracelet. It's a free claim. You have to own a KEEZ ring, and you have to own a block chain, and there's 250 of them. And then we'd allow the rarities in that as well. So there'd be so many of the purple rings going to go, so many of the black ones, the gold ones, the bronze ones, the white ones. And so it's another bit of fun, a bit of rarities, a bit of opportunity in that. But again, massively limited supply, so not everyone's going to be happy. We can't have it so there's 1,000 of every charm, because then there's no point in trading really. Well, it might be, but I think it's best to cut the collection to a percentage of the potential.
Right. I mean, you can never make everyone happy, right?
No, and I don't think it's a good idea to try. I think if it's a case of everybody can have one, there's no rush. There's no eagerness. It's a case of, there's 1,000 available, I'll just wait a bit and somebody might sell another one cheaper. You've got to give them a carrot as such to go jumping after.
Right.
And that's where we are. I've spoken to Jake, and it's ironic that Jake's on here with me, I suppose. And it doesn't look like we're going to be able to drop it through pages at the moment. I'm between a rock and a hard place at the moment, as in haven't got the funds to go and pay a dev, and it's hard to find a dev that I can trust. I'd prefer to go through a recommendation, and I don't know how much they're going to charge. I've got no idea. And genuinely, it could be 500 quid, it could be 20 grand. I genuinely don't know.
Right.
But for the first stage, I think it could go through Jake, potentially. And then the second stage is done by a dev. That, like Jake quite correctly says, it'd be better off if it was all done by the dev to start with. He can write it all into the contracts and make it work seamlessly. Right. Financially, that's not ideal, but we're working on it. So right now, we're building the following. That's the plan.
Sounds good. Ed, link me the Twitter and any other various links that you'd like me to put in the recording for this so people can find all that information. And then these are just 5-minute talks, so feel free whenever you have some more information to come back and share some more with the group too.
Will do. Thank you very much for your time.
Absolutely. I think I'll send you down here, Ed. And next we have Jake. I think that's a cool use case, especially with, LSP8s having their own addresses, right? You'll be able to, if they were to optimize for the standards, be able to send different tokens to the charm bracelets, right? Being able to own all of those directly in the asset, I think would be very cool. Jake, I'm going to promote you up here. You are on the stage, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. That's my audio.
Sounds great.
All right, awesome. Okay, yeah. Well, great project from Ed. Yeah, we definitely should stay in touch to see what we can do with Universal Page to support that project. But yeah, you have a lot of great ideas and a lot of custom code that's necessary. So there It's also indeed some devs that needs to be involved. Yeah, I just want to talk a bit about Universal Page, and especially for the upcoming Friday, we will be launching a Universal Page Pro NFT. So that's dropping on Friday, February 16th at 4 p.m. Central European Time. So be aware this is 1 hour earlier than communicated in the very first announcement. So just a very quick recap on what it will bring to the table. So holders get discounts on marketplace fees. Minters get assigned a random tier, which have different rarities and discounts. So the tiers are, the first one is purple, is 50% of the total supply. This will give you 35% discount. Gold, 30% of the total supply will give you a 50% discount. Diamond, 15% of the total supply will give you 70% discount. And the last one is Ruby, which is only 5% of the total supply, but it will give you 90% of the discount. To be clear, it's not a yearly subscription, so it's an NFT that will always give you this discount for as long as you hold it. Initially, we also were thinking about doing a drop each year, but we decided to just only do a single drop here at the beginning, like right after our launch. It will be a total supply of only 1,000 NFTs. There will never be more, and there will never be another drop. Initially, we also had ideas of making like allow list spots or discounts on drops part of the offering, but we decided to not do that, as it will be probably better for us long term to stay neutral in these drops from creators, give everyone a fair chance. However, creators are still obviously still allowed to create private phases for pro holders, because actually we just released a new tool. We refactored how phases work on drops, and we just shipped a new snapshot tool that makes it very easy for creators to create like a private phase for token holders. So not necessarily pro holders, but just any type of token. So you can search for a particular collection in the UI. You can take a snapshot, and it will start collecting all the profile addresses that currently hold that token. And then you can have like your private phase for that particular collection. So this was actually one of the most requested features from creators. So I think we can expect also a lot more of these like token gated phases, or just collection that will give you access to a collection that will be dropped later on or something like that. So just to be clear, we're not making any promises for Pro Pass holders, but it's left entirely up to creators on how they want to launch their drops. Additionally to the marketplace fees, there are also some, you're also unlocking some extra features, especially regarding to the styling options and the customizations for your custom universal page. So it will allow you to attach a custom domain to your page. So instead of, for example, universal.page/Nike, if you would own the Nike.com domain, you could attach that domain to your page and show that on the domain. You also get access to page analytics, so you can see how many people have visited your page. You can unlock different fonts or custom fonts or some pro templates, which are like pre-designed pages. So it does not require you to apply all the styles yourself, but you could just start with a nice template. And besides that, holders also get early access to new features, but actually we're constantly rolling out new features. If you've been following along and using the platform, you see that things change quite often because we're just constantly trying to improve it. But if we have like real big features that we also could really use some feedback on at first, it just gives us an opportunity to first roll it out to a smaller group before and get some early feedback before we actually roll that out to the public. That's upcoming Friday, February 16th at 4 p.m. Central European Time. It's mintable at universal.page/pro. And don't feel obligated to mint this if you can still like perfectly keep using the platform like you do right now. It's not for everyone, but if you believe in the future of this platform, or you're planning to using it a lot or trading a lot of NFTs on LUKSO, then it could be very beneficial to you. And because it's an NFT, you can save fees for as long as you hold it. And if you think you no longer need it anymore, you can still put it up for sale on the marketplace. But obviously we cannot control what the price on the market will be. So therefore, we also do not recommend buying this just to speculate on it or try to flip it on the marketplace. It just comes with a set of features, and we just recommend buying it only if you're interested in those features or if you want to like support the platform. Universal.page/pro. I also quickly wanted to share that we now also open up the vault for everyone. That's like a simple and easy to use staking solution. I think it's great that we see the validator numbers go up, but we should also have a little bit more focus on how those validators are distributed, and there's a lot of room for improvement, I guess. And I just want to emphasize it's still the best thing that you can do to help decentralize and secure the network is to run a node at home. There are a lot of guides out there. Vlad also wrote some guides, but also from the LUKSO team. It does require some technical knowledge. There are now also options for like a dApp node, which is more accessible. So you not need to have a lot of technical knowledge because it's more like a plug and play solution. But yeah, you're still responsible for keeping that node running. Plus, it comes with some upfront cost for the hardware. So even though it's still like the best way to further decentralize is to have more people running nodes, but the second best option would be to have more staking providers. And default is just an additional option that we now have that people can use. And in this phase, we're also still limiting the amount that we are accepted to be deposited. And yeah, it's suited for like non-technical people who just want a simple solution. You can just click a button to deposit, and then you can stake your LUKS. And it has all the features that you need, like auto compounding, claiming rewards in separate transactions. You can use your either universal profile or a wallet like MetaMask to deposit. But yeah, we still encourage also people to run their own nodes, and it's not like our primary product of Universal Page. We're not planning on like competing with other providers. It just gives people an additional choice for a simple staking solution. Yeah, and we're also looking forward to other providers or like Stakingverse, for example. So yeah, that's also something that I want to share. It's at universal.page/vault. And yeah, I guess that's basically it. There's like one thing that I kind of want off my chest, and that is I just wanted to say that I think it's important that we still maintain this supportive community that we have for like a long time already. And I'm seeing some like negative comments on a few builders in the community who are actually like contributing something to the space. I think that criticism is good and the feedback is helpful, but it should always be done like in a respectful manner, especially if it's to the few people who are actually willing to roll up their sleeves and putting the effort. So yeah, a lot of people put a lot of effort in to build some projects, and the community has always have a very great level of support. And I think that is important because we need a lot more builders in our ecosystem. Yeah, I think we got too many people who are talking and too little people who are actually willing to like do something or build something or contribute something. Especially right now, it's really easy to become negative when the price of LUKS is just a bit disappointing. But if you're here for the long run, like we are, then yeah, we need to stay positive because we need to attract a lot more builders that are willing to contribute and yeah, focus on some challenges for the network, like not just decentralization, but also like scalability, because we got transaction relayer services are absolutely great, but nobody's going to pay for that if gas fees are going to be as high as there are on Ethereum, for example. Now, gas fees are low on LUKSO, but yeah, the problem is there's still not much traction yet. We need a lot more traction, but if we got a lot more traction, then yeah, we also need to be dealing with like high gas fees and scalability. And there are a lot more things to be working on. Like we've been talking a lot around on-chain reputation systems, but so far there's not a lot yet. And the same for like decentralized social. Like there needs to be some sort of social protocol for universal profiles. But yeah, we haven't seen much yet. So we can build everything at Universal Page. It would be great if we have a lot more things that we can tap into and like work together on. So yeah, we just need a lot more doers, and to attract these serious builders, it's going to be hard if we're not having a supportive community, and we always had that. So I just want to say that we need to keep focusing on contribution and support, because yeah, this is a long run. So let's work together and build on the future that we want to see. All right, I've been talking too much. I'll wrap it up here.
Thanks, Jake. Again, I love every time you come on and talk with the gang at KEEZ here. I echo all the sentiments that you have. Enjoying the features that you guys are putting out at Universal Page. It seems like there's new ones every day. Vlad even just mentioned something about snapshots in the comments, which I know is definitely new and will definitely be utilized, at least by KEEZ. Definitely check out the Pro Pass, everyone, if you enjoy Universal Page and the new features that they're coming out, or if you're just looking to support these two, Jake and Vlad, that are fantastic builders. Great to see another liquid staking option as well, so we can keep the network as decentralized as we can get right now. And the sentiment about providing criticism in a productive manner, I definitely echo that. So I appreciate you saying that, Jake.
Hey, welcome, and also thanks to you for organizing these types of things, like organizing these lightning talks, the weekly wrap up. These are the things that are actually helpful and make the ecosystem come alive. There are people that actually need to put in effort to do that together. So yeah, we're also really grateful for you guys who are stepping up and doing that job.
Of course. Yep. Not everyone can code, but everyone can participate.
Exactly.
All right, Jake, great to hear from you. I'm going to pop you down to the audience. And again, anything comes up and you ever want to come back on, just hit me up. We can get you on every week if you wanted to. And next, we got myself real quick. And then anybody from the crowd that is feeling like chatting this week. It looks like Tanto would like to come up here and do a little 5 minutes after myself. So let me just plug my computer in real quick and then don't want this thing dying on me. All right, there we go. Start my 5 minutes. All right, so again, my name is Sage, core contributor at KEEZ and your host of these lightning talks. This will be the 5th lightning talk that I give. I'm trying to, as well as host it every week, give a lightning talk myself every week. This week, I'm talking about on-chain content strategies for brands. I saw a thread from Steph, her last name's like Aslong or something like that. She's one of the original Seed Club founders and focuses a lot on on-chain media strategy or on-chain marketing strategies. So as technology grows, so does brand marketing strategies. They've shifted from soapboxes and windows to billboards and TVs, inevitably to websites and internet, and now a heavy focus on more like niche social media platforms. If I were a betting man, I would bet that this trend will continue to move towards blockchain. There has to be good reason though. Massive brands won't consider on-chain medium a worth utilizing until they can prove the benefit of it. And here are some ways that I thought they might be able to benefit from it. One, content is monetizable. Brands spend big money to produce work of art campaigns in exchange for likes, comments, and shares, or on the more traditional side of things, magazine placements, TV ads, and billboards. But often it just disappears with no recollection of cash aside from potential revenue that has come from putting out the ad. This will be a milestone for the first time that you'll be able to get a return on ad spend that can actually have consistent revenue return, not just relying on sales that might come from it. On a similar note, content remains infinitely distributable. On-chain content can and should be distributed to trad social medias as well, but on-chain content compounds the distribution value of trad social media channels by remaining available to trade, distribute, and consume long after the release, which is something I think that these brands have never been able to really hit on before, aside from like posting on your Instagram. But again, we know the issues of doing that. And the third one I chose to hit on was the content could contain verifiable and consented collector data. So marketing teams gamble money with traditional in-app spends and tracking of user profiles. By contrast, every on-chain mint in theory comes with the collector address, potentially an ENS attribution if they have one, and on-chain activity. As we begin to improve profiles and social graphing on-chain, these will only be more true. These new forms of interacting with the user are also significantly more powerful than something like email first-party data. These profiles are an inbox, a shopping cart, a social login, a payment processor, all rolled into one rather than just getting an email link. Now, a couple reasons for why I think this can work better on LUKSO and not how Ethereum is currently architected. Content can be immutable and infinitely spreadable, but if the asset that represents the media is only available to view through a lens like OpenSea, that drastically reduces the functionality. With LUKSO, we can view the media directly in our profiles or in other people's profiles or whatever the asset is housed, rather than having to go to one site. And obviously, the angle with tracking users is much easier to argue. When people consume this content with a MetaMask, it offers much less data than an Instagram like would, right? if they are going to sell on-chain media to brands, then we need robust profiles to be able to interact with. These social graphs can get much more complex, and they'll be able to leverage that. In closing, though, I'm simply making the case for this. I don't particularly want brands sending spam discounts to my up like they do my emails. Good thing I'll be able to deny them entry using these LSPs that we have here. I also think that it'll be important when we do this migration from addresses to profiles that we keep data protection and privacy in mind. As the third point up there says, it should be consented collector data. Versus when you log into the Instagram app, you hit a little button saying, yeah, sure, you can access my data. And then all of it is free to use for yourself, free to move around whenever they prefer. So I think that not only will you be able to create more robust social graphs using on-chain information inevitably down the line, I think being able to control that in a better way than we currently do will be important to that. But yeah, that's my conclusion. I think there's a good amount of people right now that are putting out some cool blog posts around on-chain media and what that might look like for massive brands. And we've started to see some companies that are similar to like what KEEZ does, right? Like a media outlet that are putting their newsletters on chain, and people can go every week and kind of claim it or mint it, and you get proceeds from that. And now people have that collected onto their profile. And again, I can track users through that and blah, 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 right? So I think this transition will be fun to keep up with and fun to participate in as we can even more on LUKSO. Let me see some questions. No. Cool. All right. Is Tanto still here? We can get him up here. There he is. Tanto, how are you? Let me know when you are ready for this 5 minutes to start.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday, GM. Super cool updates from Universal Page. I second what I just want to second what Jake said about like the sentiment and stuff. It's like it can be rough mentally as a builder when you spend like so much time building stuff, and then the community might not understand the benefits of what you did, or FUD, and it can take a mental toll. I had a similar experience a few weeks ago, but the builder community in LUKSO is so strong that if you ever feel like that, just reach out and find another builder, and they're going to reassure you. And like, hey, if you fumbled and you built the wrong thing, there's like so much more to build and do together. So I love that. Ironically, we're actually building a couple of new things. We kind of pivot away from .lix because we realized that the team was doing a LUKSO name service, and I think that I would rather try to just pause development on that on other chains and like let that develop, and rather just like give ideas. So everything that I was currently doing internally in terms of researching ENS contracts, how CCIP reads, what does Web3 and Web2 look like, how DNS mirroring looks like all these questions really matter. And the question is like, but I'm curious for the team, and if you guys here have better insight, please hit me in the DMs. Like, is LUKSO name service trying to be a .lix, or are they trying to be a top level Web3 registrar and just issue cryptographic proofs of domains on LUKSO anything, right? .jack, .presto, .axolot, .heisenburgir, .emoji. Who cares? I don't know, right? That's what Freename is doing, and I think that there's so much space for that to pivot. So I'm gonna pause and just I'm gonna maybe just post on GitHub like a brain dump of here was everything that I wrote in terms of this project that I was building. The community had a little bit of pushback because apparently cryptographic proofs of domain ownership on other chains isn't what we're about. So let's figure it out together as a community so we build the right thing. We pivoted real quick, and we started looking at like, well, what's another thing that everyone is using in the community, and how do we like bring that to LUKSO and make things native? So we're actually inspired by Universal Page, and we thought something like a decentralized link tree would be an amazing potentially value add. And then we're thinking about tools that creators were doing, like Like if like you verify or you can log in with your UP to prove that you have a universal profile when you're navigated on someone's Linktree page, can that unlock a whitelist feature button that they can create whitelist, like a whitelist factory contract? That sounds almost like maybe like what Jake and Vlad were talking about modularizing out or creating options for creators on how they can create on their platforms. And so, I mean, we don't need to build the same thing. So if that's what you're doing, guys, please DM me so that we can add other cool features. But tons of exciting stuff happening. We actually are going to open source a PHP library for builders that we raw wrote all of these custom methods in PHP using absolutely no ethers, JS, no nothing. Like it's super custom. I don't personally code PHP because I think it's a dinosaur language, but I know that like there's some hardcore Web 2 devs out there that are going to be grateful for these new tools. And like the more ways you can code with LUKSO, the better. For everybody who's been waiting for a New Year's post from the UPcard community, UPcard has like gone through many iterations in terms of like what we wanted to do with it. And that some of those plans ended up spinning off and turning into kind of what you're seeing with Universal Link that I just threw in the chat. There's a poll I'm asking on Twitter for feature prioritization. We're doing things like voice note messages that get forwarded to Telegram. So you can choose kind of like based off of your UP as a go-between, whether or not you want to share all your information. But if you want someone to be able to leave you a voice message right from your Universal Links page that forwards to a TG bot, like we have that. We'd love to do the same thing with Common Ground. So like Jan, Florian, get at me about the custom like URLs with usernames that will auto open into Common Ground. We really want to like focus on the tools that the LUKSO people are using and build around that and integrate around there. Obviously, I love you guys all. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes, but yeah, Universal Links, all of our features are going to be free. There'll be an optional pink check mark. So if you want to support the team and you like the product, you can get a pink check mark, but there isn't going to be we're just making it dead simple, like Elon's model. You know what I mean? We're going to build an awesome, valuable tool that we want everybody to use. If you choose to use it, that's awesome. You can use it free forever. If you want to, send a little bit of licks to us by donation, we'd love that. If you want to support us by buying one of our NFTs, that'll give you a pink check mark next to your profile name. That's awesome. Kind of like Universal Page is doing. We're supporting all Web3 DNS. You can see my .eth name at the end of my URL, but that might as well be .lix or whatever. We're integrating Web3 Resolver library by free name, so that'll support ENS, unstoppable domains, free name. I think there's a huge market for .lix and the .lix army to penetrate the Web3 DNS space and start kind of just like educating that entire group of people that are speculating on Web3 domains and teach them about Lix and LUKSO. And I think that's my time. But thanks so much, guys. My DMs are always open. Love you all.
Tanto, great to hear from you. I'm hyped to hear that you are bringing some of your research into some more public forums. I think, I don't particularly know the difference between like .eth or what you're striving on like cross-chain interoperability. So seeing some of your research behind it would probably make it so I can make a better informed decision on it as of right now. So cool to see you doing that. Cool to see all the new features. Loving the pivot. Definitely drop me some of your links that you want shared of what you just talked about so we can throw it in the descriptions on the YouTube. And again, once you have any more updates, man, feel free to swing on back. Anyone else from the crowd feel like chatting today? If not, I will wrap this up. Oh, that's pretty cool, Heisenberg. I didn't see that question. Questions about the newsletter, and if reader answers them correctly, they can mint. That reminds me of like the reading test that I used to have to do in middle school to prove that I actually read the book. Okay, doesn't look like there's anyone today. Not totally sure when we're going to do it next week. I think we're going to try to move it back to Tuesday. The only reason we didn't do Tuesday this week was I have to get back to be on a flight like all day tomorrow. But next week, I think we're going to try to move back to Tuesday. Not sure on the time yet, but again, we will announce through our Twitter. So make sure to stick up on there. I drop a Luma link with it as well, which enables you to put this invitation onto your Google Calendar. If anyone consistently is like, whoa, I didn't know this was going on, we usually drop that the day after these lightning talks. So either way, thanks again for coming. Always looking for more presenters. Heisenburg is a great example of how we like when people use these lightning talks. Just come back and kind of talk about whatever's on your mind. If you read something, if you got updates, whatever. Lastly, too, we're going to put out a tweet today about it. We're going to close the NFT dropping your address for the mainnet party that we did with Zen and Canvas Slam. If you attended that and you're in our Discord, in the KEEZ Discord with the mainnet launch party tag, make sure you drop your address in there. We're going to do a free claim for that asset that we said we were going to get out. So check in the Discord if you have that, if you were there, and then we'll put out some more information moving forward. Okay, sounds good. Thanks for everyone for coming, and we'll see you next week.